All right, guys. Welcome to our week 2 class meeting. We're still keeping on in SimChart, so we're going to discuss some of the assignments and stuff that y'all are doing right now, going through this week, that y'all have seen already and what's coming up tomorrow. Discuss a little bit about what's coming up next week too. I want to give y'all a quick announcement. The only one we got this week is that Tuesday will be our NTHS induction ceremony, and 3 of your classmates are going to be our officers. 4 of your classmates are members. So everybody's invited to attend. Come support your folks. I am going to post a link to that Zoom on our Remind app. And if you guys want to pop in, the more the merrier. Okay. And that's going to be Tuesday at 6. And then those of you who are not members, you can see what all the fuss is about. See if it's something you're interested in. That's really the only big announcement. Tomorrow afternoon after 3 o'clock, I'm only going to be available via text. I have a meeting tomorrow at 3 o'clock with the people that we're about to discuss here in a second. So that is going to lead me into our little update on the billing statement that I got, the clinic that I told you guys I was going to offer my services to. Remember, I got this billing statement. It was all messed up, but this doctor had helped me out a whole lot. So I don't want to come at them crazy. I want to see if I can help them out, because obviously from the billing statement, they need help. Somebody in their office is either overworked or dropping the ball. So we got to figure out what's going on. So because the office manager over there, Matt's as busy as he is, he never called me back. He never reached back out to me. So today around lunchtime, I called him back and I said, hey, this is Brandy Guillory. I reached out to you a couple of weeks ago in regards to a statement. I said I was calling to talk to you about that. He's like, great. He's like, I wanted to reach back out to you. And y'all, before I could even offer this guy my services, he said, when we saw you, Brandy, didn't you work for the company downstairs that did medical billing? I'm not gonna say the company name, just to keep it kosher. But I said, yeah, I did. He's like, well, what happened with that? I was like, well, Matt, remember when you guys wrote me a note saying that I could no longer sit at a desk 8 hours a day? And he's like, yeah. I said, they fired me that day, which is exactly what happened. They fired me. Which then I wasn't able to get unemployment because I medically couldn't work. I wasn't able to get disability because I wasn't going to be disabled long enough to qualify. So I was really kind of screwed, really screwed, and losing my insurance because my insurance was through my job. So I had to do the COBRA thing, which is like 3 times the price. And it was just a horrible time in my life. It was really hard. And thankfully their office took my pain seriously and helped me. So I told him, I said, yeah, I did work for them. They fired me. It didn't work out. I was, why do you ask? And he's like, because he said, I am in billing hell. He's like, I'm dealing with so much that is going wrong with our billing that I was like, well, I said, as it happens, I was actually, since you guys did help me out so much, and this is what I do for a living. Since they fired me, I now teach medical billing and coding, and I have some extra bandwidth. I work from home. So I would, I'd like to help you guys out like y'all helped me and offer you my services. And he was like, that's kind of what we had in mind too. And from,
awesome.
Yeah, they were thinking about, they remember after looking at my records, going back and looking through all my stuff, they remembered she worked for the company downstairs that did medical billing. Maybe she can help us out. Well, what he went on to tell me was that after I wasn't seeing them anymore, they hired the company that I used to work for to do their billing, and were not happy with their services. So they're no longer using them. I can't tell you what went wrong there, because the job that I did there and the people that I worked with in the department that I worked in were phenomenal. We did our jobs and we did it well. I don't know how that company's physician billing was. I did ambulance billing for them. The physician billing was done by different people in a different department. So I never saw those counts. Couldn't tell you what that looked like. And do you know what their first question to me was? What
When
EHR
can you start?
system? No, what EHR system are you familiar with? This is what we
Oh,
use. Are you familiar with it? Never worked on it a day in my life. It's called Criterion. I'm not at all familiar with it. And I told him that. I was like, no, I've never worked on that. I said, but I have worked on multiple others. I said, so, you know, the functionality is what it is. Nothing I can't catch on to really quickly. He was like, awesome, awesome.
so he was doing all this by himself.
I think I think I put the nail on the head. Matt is their office manager. He's a nurse practitioner in there, so he sees his own patients. Okay. He's
Oh,
the
okay.
cook. And actually, I think from what he's telling me, the problem that they're having is that they don't have one of us. Matt is
Oh,
doing the
okay.
coding himself. And he told me about the EHR system. He actually, the only thing he gave me was the name. I told him, I said, well, I will familiarize myself with that system this evening for our meeting tomorrow. I'm meeting with him and the doctor at 3 o'clock tomorrow to discuss all this. So I went on YouTube, and unfortunately, that company does not have, they have like a couple of demos of their software and stuff. I
Mhm.
watched those, but it doesn't go into any great detail, especially about the billing. They spent in a 38-minute demo, they spent literally 2 minutes on the billing side of things. It's set up really, it's an amazing system as far as charting for the doctors and the front office folk. Because they basically, while they're entering charges, this EHR system is coding for them. And it sends, all the coder and the biller has to do is open up another screen, and it sees all the codes in the CPTs, and all they have to do is check over them, maybe add a modifier if they need one, and then send it on. Well, here's the deal. They're relying on this software because he told me, he's like, I got a lot of stuff that's coming back to me about modifiers. And like he was aggravated about it. Because here's the deal. Matt's a nurse practitioner. He's not a coding specialist. He might be looking over what this EHR system is spitting out and thinking it's fine. And it's not. It's not. And it's obviously not, because it's coming back from the insurance company. That's where the problem is. They don't have a coder in there looking over their stuff. So that is probably what they're going to want me to do. He thinks, and I honestly don't know if me and this guy are going to be able to get on the same page, because he's kind of like I can do it all. I know it all. I know what I'm doing, and I know where my problem is. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to go, not really, not really. You're doing this and you should be doing this. This
Yeah,
is what
because
you need. And it's going to cost you more money. Because I'm going to tell you, what they need is one full-time person in there doing their billing. That's what they need. And they're not, especially guys, he told me he is writing off hundreds of thousands of dollars of claims. They will not
wow.
stay in business long doing that. They will not. They will not. But I mean, it's up to him whether he takes my wise counsel or he doesn't. And if they don't, okay. I mean, I did my due diligence. I offered you help. If you don't want to, if you don't want to tweak your system a little bit to make it flow and get your money flowing, that's up to you. That's going to be up to them. You know,
That's true.
all I can do is recognize what's not working properly and fix it, and try to fix it and help them fix it. Right. But that's the problem, is they don't have one of us.
So when doctors have their own, you could say their own office or practice, or if they're working in a hospital, do they have to learn about coding, or is that something they just be learning from the coder that tells them what is being coded?
They know very, very basic, very, very basic stuff. That's why they like these EHR systems that do everything. Because they're trying to cut out the coder is what they're trying to do. They're trying to save that money by hiring that extra person. But
You guys
that's
have
never gonna,
the chat.
that's not gonna work. Please,
After that
mute
screen change,
Hmm?
after the screen change, it's that 28.
kids.
I think the background noise coming from Jennifer's phone.
I got her.
There you go.
Um,
Because I noticed when I asked my orthopedic specialist, when I was asking him about, he was asking me what I was going to school for. And I told him, and he was like, well, I know my code. I know when you're coding the rotator cuff repair with the other, some other stuff he was telling me. He said they used to coding as coded individually. He said now they just code it all in one group. So I was like, okay, how he knows that? Is there something the doctors have to learn, or is there
That-
something the
that is
coders are telling him?
they know the basics of it. And especially once they do an expensive procedure like a surgery, a rotator cuff repair, that's a $50,000 surgery or more.
Mhm.
They, and in that charge comes back to them. You know, it's one thing if you send a claim out for $120 for an office visit, but it's another one when you send one out for $14,000 and it gets
Mhm.
denied. You're gonna find out real quick why, right?
Okay,
That's
yeah.
big money. So he's paying attention because he wants to make sure his big money keeps rolling in. Now,
Okay.
like I said, the neuropsychologist that I worked for did all of her own coding.
Okay.
Her coding was so specialized that she knew it, and she knew she wanted to do it herself to make sure it was done right. Because neuropsychology, y'all, that gosh,
Right.
So
Might as
she
well-
want to
might as
learn
well
her
talk
own,
rocket
her own
science.
stuff.
talking neuropsychology. Hey, Aisha,
Ooh, I forgot. I
girl,
was supposed to bring my tablet. My son got an interview. I
All
was
good.
like, oh Lord.
it's okay. It's all right. But
I was wondering what happened to you, Aisha.
I'm giving him an update on the clinic that I was offering services to. I have a meeting with him tomorrow. We're gonna go sit down. But so a lot of them know the basics, and especially when it's big money like that, Julia, they're gonna get in. They want to know the nitty gritty of it, you know, and they need to. They really need to. If they're managing their practice, they need to know that their coders are doing what they're supposed to do and their billers are doing what they're supposed to do, and that their front office people are entering in patient demographics correctly, and their data entry people are putting in allergies correctly and things like that. And I noticed on the demo of their EHR system that I watched, one of their big selling points is that there's a whole lot of compliance with the government that doctors and clinics have to adhere to keep their medical certifications. They have to collect so much data and on their patients and send it into the government at certain times. So one of the big selling features of this particular one is that it collects all of this compliance information that's regulated and keeps track of it for the doctor, and the doctor can just pull it from wherever. As people are putting it into the chart, the system on the back end is collecting all this and putting it in where it needs to go,
Okay.
so they can save it later, which is fantastic. That saves somebody a whole lot of work, right? But you, like, okay, with TrueCode, let's talk about that for a second. With TrueCode, with that EHR system, does it give you the basics of where that code, you know, it brings you to the right area? Yes, but you still have to be able to
look.
read those descriptions and
Yeah.
decipher which one's the right one, right?
Well, I
Yeah,
don't know
'cause
how
that's-
it works. Mine still
Yeah,
doesn't-
because it does that for me, because I noticed you can input it manually and then it will pop up. But then if you're reading the directions telling you still have to click on it. Then when it opens up another little box, or like it said, treat, you have to go down and really scroll down to go down and look for it. So it's like you really reading it. So it's kind of getting you kind of confused, because you thinking it's the first code, but no, you have to really go down and read it and then select the next code that's the basic to it.
And
And
that,
sometimes the true code does act up. It'll say you're not
Mhm.
able to get in a system, but I notice if ever I click out of it and I relaunch it, then the true code works. It works.
And here's the other thing on that, y'all. Here's the other thing. Okay, say the software comes up with these codes and you send them in, and they're all valid and good per ICD-10. What's to say that that insurance company doesn't have a clause somewhere that says such and such a code is not payable with such and such a code?
Mhm.
You know, it's not. Sometimes there are those stipulations that come into play that decide whether or not something is payable.
Mhm.
And what it sounds like to me is that Matt is really unhappy with the contractual adjustments that he's having to make for Blue Cross. And that's his primary fuss today was with Blue Cross not paying his claims. Tell you right now, his coding's jacked up. That's gonna be thing one, is his coding's jacked up. And I'm kind of hesitant to say this, but it almost sounds like he doesn't have a real firm understanding of how the credentialing and contracting part of it all works, and how the companies are figuring out those amounts and things like that, right? And that was his other thing. He said that they're having issues with her being in and out of network with different things, and her credentialing is seems like it's kind of jacked up. So that'll probably be something else I'm going to help them out with. And I said, well, Matt, maybe I can help you out with some of your credentialing. I've done that before. And maybe maybe that's something I can help with too. He's like, oh, thank God.
I'll say, but it's gonna be worth. I'm gonna offer what I'm worth. I'm not gonna help
Yeah.
you do. I hope you don't think that you're gonna help him
Well,
do
here's
all
the
this
thing.
stuff and just get paid
Well, here's
a
the thing.
low amount.
He's like, we can barter. He's like, we can barter. We'll just, knock out this bill and you could just help us out. And I'm like, I owe you a whole lot less than what I'm worth, honey. And that's something we'll talk about tomorrow. I have an hourly fee, and it is what it is. He's going to take it or he's not going to take it.
Yeah.
I'm offering you my services. I'm not saying, please give me a job. I don't need your job. But you damn sure need my help.
Exactly. You coming to help him, not really take
That's
his
it.
job.
That's it.
So we don't think you
I
can do
don't,
something.
I'm okay. I don't necessarily need the extra money, but I want a PlayStation 5. So if I can pick up this little side work, I'm gonna do it. Right?
I know that's right.
Exactly. So
I want a
here,
little extra.
that's what
We always need extras.
everybody
Yes.
can use a little extra, right? So
No mad money.
if this,
Right. And to know that you can have your own rate is awesome.
right, that's it. And that's, y'all, there ain't no reason y'all couldn't be here either. I wouldn't have thought that this would be me. And it's kind of, I had to call my uncle because he's a professional. He's a manager at a big oil company. And he, been working in the corporate world forever. And I was like, this is kind of outside my comfort zone, offering my services. I've never done that. I've always been the one, here's my resume, please give me a job.
Mhm.
Please hire me. This is different for me. It's outside my comfort zone. I had to kind of ask him, and tonight I'm actually going to call him again because I need some tips and tricks on how to handle somebody who thinks they know everything that they don't. And because that's what I'm going to walk into tomorrow with Matt. I got this gut feeling that he's not going to want to hear some of what I got to say.
So
Yeah.
Matt is the nurse practitioner or he's just the biller?
He's the nurse practitioner, office manager, coding, billing person.
So is he married?
doing
Should we
too
call
much.
his wife and let him know if he doesn't get it straight, they're gonna be homeless?
Well, here's the thing. Him and the doctor, it's a 3-man show in there, y'all. There's the doctor, there's Matt, and then there's the girl that answers the phone and schedules appointments and verifies your insurance and collects payments over the phone. Those are the 3 people in that office. And the doctor and Matt I can tell you that right now. They're tight.
Yeah, but he got too much going on.
He
They
does.
need to hire
He
a
does.
fourth
And then one of the
person.
first things I'm gonna say is you are being unrealistic about what you can manage. You're
Definitely.
trying to do the job of at least 2 people, maybe 3, depending on how
Yes.
big their practice is. I don't know what kind of
Right.
labor balance. And they're gonna look, I'm gonna come in there tomorrow with a list of questions. And I'll tell you, share some of them with y'all, because this is things to think about. So that when y'all get in an office and y'all come up with, y'all see something, you might recognize it as not being not being right, or you might be able to recognize how you can improve something. And I tell you what, if you come in your office and you point out to your boss how you can make things run smoothly and save them money, baby, they're gonna keep you. They're gonna keep you.
So it's just you and Matt gonna have the
I have no
interview, or the
idea.
doctor? Oh,
I have.
because I
no
think
idea.
even though him and the doctor is close, I think once the doctor gonna hear your credentials, he gonna look at it like, okay, well, Matt, you need to push aside and this depend,
Well, here's the thing,
deal with
too.
your patients and
Here's the thing.
kind of let her do some stuff.
There's only so much help that I can give them. I have an 8 to 5 job. I have a full-time job and a family. So there's only a certain amount of help that I can offer them. I'm not going to be there 8 to 5. And I dang sure ain't going to try to be there 8 to 5 in a 2-hour-a-day span. Right?
No. Right.
Not going to happen. That
Because he have to,
uh-uh.
if he's a nurse practitioner, he needs to spend more time with your patients, knowing about your patients, and not have to worry about how you're coding
Exactly.
senior patients, right?
that's
So
why
you
I
asking
think-
him, do you know what patient, what went on with your patients today? Or you worrying about how you're gonna build the insurance company for seeing that patient?
Right.
Maybe you have all
And
that going on.
exactly. That's a conversation we're going to have. Because
That's a lot.
That could lead
it-
to a
it's too
malpractice
much.
suit.
It is too much for one person. It's unrealistic and it's not going to work. It's not
Yeah.
working. Obviously, if they're bleeding money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, they got to do something. They know they got to do something different, right? They know it's not working. So, couple
And
things
he
that
know you must be doing something wrong, especially when they bill you a sales tax, when you know you was supposed to
we
be.
didn't even talk about that. But look, we did talk about the COVID vaccination, because we started going over, and this was the thing, when he started looking into it, he had those Blue Cross amounts there, what they had paid and what they had allowed and stuff. But you remember, they were not on my statement. But he had that stuff in office. That's why I say I think he's having issues with the contractual adjustments and things like that. So we're going to have to talk about that. And he was telling me, I said, and also I got a bill about the COVID, the immunization. And he was like, yeah, I'm not going to bill you for that. And I was like, you're saying you're not. I said, but do you understand that you can't?
That's
You're
true.
saying that you're not going to bill me for that, like you're doing me a favor. But do you understand that legally you can't bill me for that? That you have to adjust that off, whether you like it or not.
That's true, because they show that
Like I
on
said, guys, you
television.
may not like some of the things that I come in there and say,
It's true, because
Maybe-
on
maybe they
television, they
want
show
my
you the
help.
vaccination is free.
but I'm not going to lie to them, and I'm not going to do
Mhm.
them a disservice, and I'm going to bring up the sales tax thing. Do you realize that you're doing this and you're not supposed to do this?
Yeah. That's
You need to get that worked out. You need to get your credentialing worked out. You need to
In
get
other words, I'm gonna need you to join my class.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. My YouTube's public, y'all. They can
send
check it
them the
out any
link
old
to
day.
your YouTube channel.
They can check it out any old day. But look, one of the first things I'm gonna ask them, who does what in your office? I need to get an idea of exactly who's got what responsibility and where the ball is being dropped.
Yeah.
Okay. Which insurance company? It sounds like Blue Cross. That's the only gripe he had, was Blue Cross ain't paying my claims. Blue Cross ain't paying my claims. Okay. Well, first of all, we got to find out if your credentialing's in check, if your contract's in check. If it is, then we got to figure out what denials you're seeing. Is it all? He said them modifiers. Rah, 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 rah.
You must
I
don't
know your
know much
modifiers.
about the modifiers.
And I'd be willing to bet y'all, I'd be willing to bet there's not an ICD-10 coding manual in that office tomorrow. I'm gonna bring mine with me. And I'm gonna go, you got one of these? Are you verifying your codes with this? Because that's why your stuff's coming back.
He probably just using it, like you say, when the codes show up on the computer system.
And then
And he
not
just
understanding
gone
why
with
it's not
that.
payable.
Yeah, and
You're
it's
not
something, and it's not showing modifiers on there unless you
Yeah.
really know to look for it. So if you don't know to look for it and just clicking whatever he sees pop up, that's what he's sending off on.
Right. But I need to know who in your office does what. Who's doing the coding? Are you just leaving it up to the doctor and the software? Who's doing the claims filing? Are you just sending it out? Are y'all signed up with a clearinghouse that I can access? Do you have insurance logons that I can access? Who does your follow-up denials and appeals? Who does your posting and adjusting? Because that person is way off.
Hmm.
Because my statement was crazy. Who sends your patient statements and make sure they're correct? Who answers the questions when the patient's calling about it? And what are they being told? Those are the questions I need to know. The first set of questions I need to know. The second set of questions I need to know to get an idea of the scope of their office and the problems that they're dealing with. What's your ledger balance? And if he can't tell me his ledger balance, I'm hoping either him or the doctor can tell me their ledger balance. They should know that off the top of their head, because that's the amount of money that you have floating out in the ether. That is the amount of money that you are waiting to either one, collect from insurance, collect from patient, or adjust off. That's where that is. The first account, y'all, that I ever worked when I started doing medical billing and working denying claims and stuff had a ledger balance of $500,000. They had
What?
$500,000. Over $500,000 in outstanding claims. Just sitting out there in the ether, not going nowhere. And when I joined that company, the company had had the account for a year and their claims had never been worked, never been touched. I can't tell you how many hundreds of thousands of dollars I wrote off for timely filing. And that hurts when you're writing off 20 grand a pop for a hysterectomy. That hurts. So hopefully it's not going to be a case like that with them. Hopefully their ledger balance is not that huge. And they don't have that much out there. That's a lot of money to track down, but that's the job. If they come in, they're like, we just need you to clean up our claims and find our money. Great. What's your ledger balance? What you want your ledger balance to be? Let's get it there. Let me find your money. That would be ideally what I would love to do. I have a feeling they're gonna want me to do quite a bit more than that, though.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
It seems like Matt.
I never knew that they can have so much money just floating around like that and not have, they haven't claimed it or, put towards to anyone because of what they're doing to people so far as procedures, medicine, whatever the case may be,
That's it. And I mean, how do you stay in business when you've got $500,000 worth of stuff out there?
Right.
That's not coming to you. But, I mean, and that's not saying that none of their claims were getting paid. They probably had another $500,000 worth of stuff that was going through just fine and getting paid. It was that big of a clinic. It was huge. It was one of the biggest hospital systems in the state. Owns that clinic. And that's why they outsource billing, y'all. Because it's specialized and it's important and it's a headache that they don't want. They don't want to know the nitty-gritty of coding. They don't. They just want their money to come in. They just want their money. And that's our job. Sometimes just find the money or find what's causing the money to not come in. What's causing these claims to be rejected. That seems to be the problem over there, is that it's not that they're losing payments, they ain't getting them because they're not coding right. That seems to be the problem. We'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow when I go sit down with Matt and the doctor and see if we can work something out, if I can help them or not, you know? But yeah. And that $500,000 ledger balance, y'all, it took me a year just to get a good handle on it. I hadn't reduced it by much in a year's time. Because I was new. I was learning my way. But after 3 years, I had that baby running like clockwork. I didn't hardly have a denied claim come through there. And when I did, I knew exactly what I needed to do to get it paid. And we cleaned up that ledger balance. And when I left there, it was maybe $100,000, maybe. I'm pretty sure it was less than that. I think it was in the 90s, which is not bad for a clinic that size. When you've got $16,000 worth of claims coming in a day, having a ledger balance of 90 grand is not that bad. So, but yeah. So what this makes me think about, guys, the EHR systems. You see this particular clinic, how heavily they're relying on this software to do things for them, and it's not working out. That's why y'all still have to have that base knowledge. That's why we go through and we do the cold coding. So these systems are there to help. They're not there to do the job for you. You still got to have some knowledge and some know-how. And when that machine doesn't spit out the right number, you got to know how to go in that coding book and figure out why. Right? So that's why we go through the things that we go through. So a little bit about the assignments that y'all are going through right now, all this documentation of allergies and medications and stuff like that. A minute ago, we talked about how compliant they have to be, and they have to turn in records and stuff. That's why it's so vital for this information to be correct. And that's the big thing, is they're making you repeat it to get the steps down so that you're doing it correctly. It needs to be as correct as possible, as few mistakes as possible. I mean, just think about this. You mess up on putting in an allergy or a medication, and the doctor prescribes something that they're allergic to, and the patient doesn't catch it. The pharmacy doesn't catch it. Possible disaster, right? Possible death.
Especially a lawsuit, because not to cut you off, I was in a predicament where I was admitted to Baton Rouge General, and I was admitted morphine. Now it's in all my work that I'm allergic to morphine. Like, I can't have it at all. And the nurse gave it to me because I guess it was doctor's orders. And I started to get welts everywhere, and my throat was closing. It was horrible, and my mom was in so much shock and scared. Like, the nurse rushed back in and was like, "I'm just gonna flush it out," like nothing ever happened, you know. But it was well documented from the years that I've been admitted to the hospital, and I was wondering, how could y'all give me something in my known allergies that I'm highly allergic to morphine?
Yep, my daddy was allergic to morphine, and they tried to give it to him when he had a stroke. He came in.
Oh, wow.
They thought he had a UTI, and I told him, I was like, that man had a stroke. I was like, he's out his box. And they're like, no, it's just a UTI. It's got him, crazy in the head. I'm like, no, I know my daddy, and he's had a stroke. I know what a stroke looks like. And they tried to give him morphine. I was like, stop the presses. Thank God I was there. And I was like, what are you doing? And she was like, well, he's in pain. I said, well, you're about to kill him because he's allergic to morphine. And she was like, oh, I missed that. I was like, you did you? Go back and reread, honey.
Right.
And that is a very common pain
Allergy.
Yes, morphine. A lot of people are allergic to that.
Yeah. Paige is allergic to, unfortunately, one of the best antibiotics on the market, Bactrim.
Oh, wow. I know some people are allergic to amoxicillin as well.
Any of the Cillins, but she's allergic to Bactrim, Bactroban, anything that Bactracin, anything that contains there's one particular drug in there that she just, man, it's bad. So we have that, heavily documented. And when she gets an ear, the reason we found out about that is because she had double ear infections, poor baby. And we went through antibiotic after antibiotic, and we finally got to Bactrim. And he was like, she was a baby. And he said, if she starts to itch, you notice any red spots, call us right away. And she did. She started to get little red spots. And I was like, oh no. And she started scratching at her face and all kinds of stuff. So that's no longer a thing. So that's something that I watch whenever she gets medical care. I make sure that they're not prescribing her anything with Bactrim, any of that, And it's unfortunate because it's a great flipping antibiotic. It's a great drug, but you got to watch that stuff. That's why the documentation is key. For safety and regulatory reasons, y'all, governmental compliance is big. That will shut down an office quick, like and in a hurry, like really fast. If you're not compliant with your paperwork, you're not turning in the data that you're supposed to be turning into the government. And especially if you're a provider that provides Medicare or Medicaid services, boy, your paperwork best be in order. It better be, because Medicare can do an audit anytime they want to, feel like it. Anytime you call a representative at the Medicare office and you make somebody mad, your office could get audited. So it's really important. That's why we have this section about all the documenting and making sure the allergy lists are correct and all that stuff. So that's why you're seeing this week, because it's really, really important. Really important. Coming up, you guys are about to get into the billing and coding, or the billing side of things in the EHR and SimChart, where you'll be completing more super bills and generating claims and things like that. And I think y'all will do fine with that. Most of y'all are doing really, really great, going through things. And I know now that I know it was kind of scary at first, but now that y'all are into everything, it's not that difficult, right? Going through the assignments and, 20, 30 minutes a piece here and there. It's doable, right? I'm in agreement. Awesome. Okay.
I notice whenever you're doing the coding and the true code, when you come to coding, I notice they have the ICD-9 still in that system too. So you gotta be careful not to click that one. You click the ICD-10.
ICD-10.
Sounds
right.
like, okay, why do they have the ICD-9 in there? Is it sometimes you're gonna have to be using the ICD-9, or is it always the ICD-10 now?
It is probably in there because that's what it was when that software was developed.
Oh, okay.
So it's just still in there. And as the coding progresses, in October of 2015, we got ICD-10. ICD-10 11 will be out probably next year. God help us all. And then the system will have to update for that coding as well. So eventually they may take the 9 out, but no, whatever the current coding module is what you'll use. And right now we're firmly in 10.
So when we're doing the true code and it clicks and shows a code, do we still have to go back in our books and look it up to make sure it's the right stuff, or do we go down the list like it's on the true code website?
Go ahead and just do the true code website. Y'all have done so much coding as it is. Just verify that the true code that you're coming up with, that you're selecting, is what the instructions have.
Yeah, because I noticed the instructions that say one code I'm looking at, but then it tells you to go down and then you click another code. So that's why I'm saying how you be really, that's what be kind of confusing me sometimes, because I'm like, well,
and it's just
the code changes.
It's like in your ICD-10 manual, Julia. You know how you got those different indentations, right? When you click, you're just going into that next indentation.
Okay.
You're just going into that next indentation down to get more specific. And I'd be willing to bet that that's a lot of the reason that a lot of Matt's codes are not going through too, is that I bet he doesn't know that he needs to add an X here or there. I bet he doesn't have
Yeah.
a coding manual to tell him that he needs to add an A on the end of something. He's
Yeah.
Right, that makes a big difference. I've noticed as well.
huge, yes. He's never been trained. It kind of seems like, as far as the coding and billing, he's flying by the seat of his pants.
Yeah, because I noticed one code, it did say like 38.1 X. So if you don't know, the first code will say 38.8. And then as it told you to go down further, then it came up to 38.1 X or something like that. If you don't know
Right.
that one X goes with it, he
Okay,
probably clicking
Let
on the
me
first thing.
address something real quick with that.
Mhm.
If you guys are still having problems with TrueCode, you got to get with Evolve support. And don't, y'all, for the love of God, we got stuff to do every day. Don't email somebody and wait for them to get back with you. Get on chat. 10, 15 seconds and you're talking to a live person that's going to fix your problem. Don't
Yeah.
email them. Don't call. Don't even worry about calling them. Get on chat. Let them walk you through whatever you need to walk you through. That has worked for most people that have had issues with TrueCode. I haven't had many of y'all have issues with it, but if you have, and it took them contacting Evolve support and Evolve doing whatever they had to do on their end. But yeah, do the chat option. Don't wait for
That's
them to
it.
email you back. We ain't got time for that. We ain't
That's
got
what
time.
I did, the chat. Yeah, because remember when I text you and I said, well, I know she's busy. I don't want to.
Yeah.
So I decided to go through chat, and that's when they told me just to log completely out of Sims chart. And then it told me to go and do my cookies and erase a lot of stuff. That's what could have been happening. But I noticed today when I went back on it, it did the same thing again. But I noticed if I click completely out of Sims chart and then go to the course assignment onto our page and relaunch it, and then when I came back on it and click on it, then the TrueCode page
So it sounds like
come
it's
up.
just kind of glitchy sometimes.
Is glitching. Yeah, the
Sometimes it
Sims
just takes a
chart, so.
restart. Okay. Good to
Mhm.
know. That's good to know. So yeah,
Yep.
if y'all are having issues with that, chat with their Evolve support and they should be able to get that worked out.
Yeah.
But y'all, I mean, class goes too fast. We got assignments due every day. We can't wait on other people. We gotta make things happen. Let's make it happen. Good, Erin. Erin says she looked it up manually or skipped it completely. That
Mm.
works, sister. If you can't get it to work and you want to do it manually, that's great practice. That is fantastic practice.
Yeah.
'Cause
Just
y'all,
put the
here's
code
thing.
that the instructions tell you. I
Here's
just put that
something.
in there. And
Here's
skip
something
it.
to think about. What is that office to do if their EHR system goes down?
They're gonna have to look
They
in
are
their book.
Go
dead
to manual.
in the
They gonna call you.
They are dead in the
You gotta go
water.
manually.
They will
Not
try.
if they don't have a manual there.
Yeah, exactly. How they going? They wouldn't even know where to start.
Google.
They could try that too, but it's
Mhm.
not going to get them the level of specificity that they need to get the claims paid. It's
That's
just
true.
not. It may on some easy stuff, yeah. But this is the thing. And this is another thing you have to look into that I'm gonna have to ask them. Are they credentialed with Blue Cross? Is she as an individual provider? Or are they credentialed as an urgent care clinic? Because the name of their clinic is Urgent EMS. They advertise as an urgent care clinic. But urgent care clinics do not get paid reimbursed the same way as physicians, as providers. The rules are different. Matt might not know that. We're gonna have to find
This
out.
is off the subject. How is Aaron texting? I've been trying to figure that out.
There's a chat option down at the bottom of the screen. There's a chat option.
I didn't think anybody really looked at it.
I usually
I know
don't.
you
but-
did. I knew
usually
your
don't,
brain
but
did.
I just happened to see Aaron's message pop up and I was like,
I see.
let me talk about that for a second. Yeah.
Every time I see Erin message something, I'm just laughing at her messages because she say
Now I
Matt
got
just
it
don't
open.
know much about Google.
Now I've got the little chat screen open so I can see everything y'all been putting.
Girl, I'm like,
Sometimes it's hard to get a word in, you know?
Awesome. Awesome.
like that.
Yeah, that works, y'all. That work. I'm all about it. Chat amongst yourselves while I'm talking. I'm more than okay with that. Y'all do your thing.
I mean, I got comments. I got I got things to say. I just don't have a chance to say it to them. Yeah, I found
No,
one.
and Erin is not the type that she's just gonna into the conversation. She's not that type that she's
she's
gonna over
okay.
talk on somebody or something like that.
My mama didn't raise me that way to be rude, and I don't want to be rude.
That's the vibe. I guess I get good, pretty decent gut feelings about people and things, y'all. Because I think Erin and I have talked on the phone maybe 3 times.
Oh, I'd be lying if I told you. I don't know. It's been a few.
Times.
We text a lot
Couple
though.
times. Yeah, we text a fair amount. But that's the vibe that I've gotten from Erin. So I'm really excited about this meeting tomorrow and to see how this all goes down. Because I've like I said, y'all, I'm stepping out my comfort zone. I've never been, this is my fee and it is what it is, and you can take it or you can leave it. I hope you take it though. I hope you take it though. Because like I said, I'd really like to help them out. They're in a world of crap, y'all. They're in a real bad financial world of crap over there. And it seems like it's coming to a head, and Matt realizes it, and I hope he really does. And he's willing to let me help them and take some of my advice. And it may just be, that all they need is somebody, a coder, to look over the claims that they have going out. That may be the only thing. Matt might be able to keep up with the rest of it on his own. But there's no way, if half his claims are being denied, that he can keep up with denials, his own patients, managing the office, and all the responsibilities that come along with that. Y'all, managing an office, a provider's office, is like a full-time job in itself. It really is. You might be able to pile a few other tasks on there, but it's a job. And you'll find a lot of offices try to save money on staff by piling on the work and piling on the different tasks and stuff like that. Don't let them do it, y'all. Don't let them do it. They will. They do it. They'll do it to try to save that money and help that bottom line. But make them know your worth. Show them your worth. Show them what you can do. Do a good job. Be efficient. Get that money flowing for them. And then they won't let you go nowhere. Then they won't let you go nowhere. So, if you like what? You're right. You're right. And that's why I'm gonna have that conversation with my uncle tomorrow to see how to put him in his place professionally if I need to. Because
I got faith in you.
Right. I have the tendency to go real unprofessional real quick, and I don't want to do that. I want to maintain my professionalism. So I don't walk out there looking like an ass.
Gotta keep it classy.
Right. Keep it classy.
Classy but sassy.
That's it. That's it. So but I've never really, I've never dealt with a person, and I hate to say know-it-all, but an arrogant know-it-all in a professional manner where they weren't my boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always kind of, when I was dealing with a person like that, they've always been my superior. And I've always just kind of had to bite my tongue and stay in my lane, right? Because sometimes to keep your job, that's what you do. You bite your tongue and you stay in your lane. But this is a different situation. Matt is not my boss. Now, if they contract me out, he may hold that position as my direct supervisor of who I report to, because he's the office manager. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But under no circumstances, and I mean no circumstances, is that man going to talk down to me or treat me any kind of way. That ain't gonna happen. I don't put up with things like that because I don't have to anymore. Now, if my boss from Unitech, I'm gonna shut my mouth and stay in my lane, right? Because that's my paycheck. That's my steady paycheck coming in. But this situation's a little bit different, and like I said, it's first for me, so I'm not 100% on how to handle him. So I'm gonna try to get some advice on that before I walk into that meeting.
Almost kind of like you've already done one job for him because you showed him what he did wrong with your account.
I have, and I
It's my
pointed it
first
out to him
time.
today. I said I've already tracked down the EOBs, the payments, and the receipts for all these payments. I've already done all the billing side of this for you.
I
can
gave you
email
one free.
Yeah, gave you one free. Gave you one free, mine. You know, so we'll see. We'll just see how it goes, and hopefully we can work together. Like I said, I don't know. I'm not 100% on that. Not 100% that we're gonna be able to get on the same page. Get on the same page. I hope we can though. I really do. Because they're a great little office. They're fantastic. Y'all, I am a huge supporter of the gay community. Like, I like my whiskey straight, but my friends could go either way. I don't care. I am not in any way, shape, or form prejudiced against anybody for the color of their skin, their sexual preference, their religious preference, or anything else. I love everybody. I love all peoples equally, right? And what's great, this doctor, she happens to be a transgender. She used to be a man, and I think the entire office is gay. Actually, I think Matt's gay, and I think their little receptionist is a lesbian. I'm not 100% on that, but I do know that for a fact that the doctor is transgender, and it's fantastic. And they have this really awesome office that you can tell that the doctor's artistic or somebody in there is artistic, because they've got it's just an amazing little space. It's just really cool, and they're all really nice people, and they're in a like a 15-story building. It's an urgent care clinic that's in a high-rise building. The company that I worked for was like three stories below. That's how I ended up with them, because I was on my lunch break and I was like, what's the closest urgent care clinic to me? And it happened to be in my building, several stories up. So I jumped on the elevator on my lunch break and went up, and they let me walk right in and saw me and took care of me from then on. But they do mobile visits, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
They do telehealth, and half the time that I call Matt, he's in his car. He's not even in the office half the time when I call him. He's in his car on his way to one of these mobile visits. So I think the doctor sees patients in the office. Matt does their mobile stuff, and then everything else that he's trying to do. And then they have their receptionist. So we'll see. But I would love to help them thrive. I would love to help them thrive. I hope they let me. But all right, so do you guys have any questions, concerns, SimChart, the assignments, True Code,
I do.
anything? What you got, Aaron?
Well, can we finish the rest of them even though you didn't assign it? Because I mean, I've run out of stuff to do. I've already did all this week's. I mean, up to what was it, 57?
You do as much as you want to do.
Because I mean, the even numbers are still listed. So, okay.
What I did was, altogether, I want to say there's like 150 assignments. I'm only assigning y'all like half of them because Jesus A2 has time for all that.
Yeah, they're tedious.
You know,
it takes time.
Tedious. They are. It's a job, you know. So I'm assigning y'all about half of them. And that way I can leave y'all days where y'all can catch up. I can assign some for extra credit if we need to at the end. It gives us some wiggle room. If y'all want to walk through something on Zoom, we have some assignments that were not assigned that we can walk through on Zoom, and it's something that you haven't seen already. But that's why we did that, because number one, I don't want to overload you. Number two, how much do you really need to do the same thing over and over and over again, right? You know, and number three, I wanted to leave us some wiggle room to have some other things to do. So, but if you want to, Aaron, do as much of it as you want.
That's what I was kind of wondering if.
You can't do anything but
Maybe,
be good.
maybe we could get extra credit.
Absolutely. Oh, something I did find out, y'all. I have a multitude of y'all that last module ended your grades with like 104% or 107% or this and that because of all the extra credit I gave. Well, Unitech has gotten in touch with me after I submitted final grades, and they're like, you can't do that.
Oops.
They can't have better than a 4.0. I said, who said? And they're like, well, the federal government said so. And I was like, well, all right. Well, then I guess there's nothing I can do about that. But so I can still let you do better than 100% on your tests and stuff, for that final class grade, it's not going to be any higher than 100%. So I'm sorry. I would give y'all all the dang percents I could, as many as I could. You know,
At least
but-
have a little competition.
right,
I'll
exactly.
I'll throw some money in for like a gift card.
And look, is Tiffany still on here? Where's Tiffany? I'll tell y'all real quick. Miss Tiffany asked me. She knew her score for this class was up there.
Yeah, I'm right here, Miss B.
Hey, Tiff.
Hey.
I'm gonna put you on Front Street for just a minute. Tiffany asked me, and she's like, "How we know if we had the best grade in the class?" And I was like, "Well, I tell you, I don't post it anywhere, but I'll tell you, and I'll tell you who it was. It was Julia. But you want to know how stinking close it was? 0.03% between Julia and Tiffany's grade. One of them had a 107.79. That was Julia, and Tiffany had a 107.76. 0.03%, y'all, difference. So awesome job, both of y'all. Awesome
Wow,
job.
that was
Thank
close, Tiff.
And
Yeah, that was.
plenty of y'all on here wasn't much below that. A percentage point here, percentage point there. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are just fantastic. So, all right. Any other questions, concerns, anything y'all want to gab about?
I got a quick question and then I have to go. I got an email. Is that correct?
An email.
Uh-huh. From Honor Society.
It didn't come from me. Who sent it?
That's who sent it, Honor Society.
Honor Society. Forward me that. Does it say National Technical Honor Society?
No,
Mm,
this is honorsociety.org.
don't click on nothing.
Okay.
Don't click on nothing and forward it to me.
Okay.
Yeah, ours is National Technical Honor Society.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all watch out. Watch out for them fishing people. I got a 10 o'clock meeting in the morning with Unitech Security about they've been apparently trying to hack our system. So we're gonna have some security updates and stuff like that. So, watch out for those phishing emails that click now, and especially y'all, if they put a time limit on you, if they're trying to hurry you into doing something, step back and think and investigate before you just start clicking random things and giving people access to God knows what. Okay. All right. Anything else, y'all? Hey, Jerica. Jerica, you listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Stay on for me.
Yes, ma'am.
I got a message for you.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Well, if y'all don't have nothing else for me, that's gonna be it for today. And have a great weekend. I hope you guys get some rest. And again, y'all remember, I had a lot of people surprised when assignments closed and wasn't able to be reopened this week. But I had let it be known at the last Zoom meeting that we were going to be tightening up on that stuff. So, but like I said, a lot of that doesn't apply to the folks that come to Zoom. Y'all are fantastic, but for the folks that don't, if y'all don't get with me before Sunday night, and don't be texting me late, I'm not going to be so apt to reopen these assignments without a valid reason. You've got a week to do this stuff. It's not that much stuff. If you got a valid reason, I'm more than happy to work with you. If you communicate with me, I'm more than happy to work with you. But it requires those two things, okay?
I can't see how they could wait till the last minute, the last day to try to finish everything, because this is kind
It's
of like,
too
you know, it
much.
take a few minutes to
That's
do
just
it, but it ended up being a lot. But I noticed, even though since I had surgery, and I know a few days I wasn't gonna be able to do it sometimes, because I still have times where I'll be in a lot of pain, but I get it done at times. I'm typing with one hand, but I'm trying to get a
That's
good bit
it.
of it done in one day.
You know, we got people like you who had neck surgery on Tuesday, and we got one in here who just had a baby. You know, but I got one student who's literally just about homeless right now, y'all, and she's turning in her work.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question.
Like everybody got a lot going on. You know,
That's why I text.
But
making
this
sacrifices
is the
to
thing, though.
complete this
All
stuff.
it takes is a little bit of communication, right?
Right, I'm big on that, and I know I'm still agitated about doing it.
That's all it takes. If you got something going on, like I've had people text me, I just got off work, I just got my kids to bed and I'm exhausted. Can I just do this tomorrow, please? Of course. Of course, go to bed, get rest. You got to care for yourself. But just communicate that to me and it's not a problem. But if you just don't do it and then a week later you say, hey, can you reopen this? And you never let me know nothing? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry it closed. Labs close on Sunday.
I just wanted to make sure you had my name.
I do. I got you, precious. I saw you pop in,
Okay.
girl. All right, y'all. If that's it, I don't have nothing else for you. Y'all be blessed.
I need to ask you something when everybody logs off, Miss Brandy.
Well, I need to talk to Jerica Martinique. Can
Okay,
I text you or call you?
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. I'll call you in a little bit.
Okay.
All right.